welcome to Buchanan County Sports podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have a special guest with us, or special guest, shall I say. In the 1980s, the Buchanan County featured many great athletes. We had athletes in every sport, in everything from softball, tennis, girls basketball, boys basketball, and mainly football. We had a lot of great football teams during the 1980s, and today we're joined by the 1986 Garden Green Dragons and Coach Roger Rife and 8 players. In 1986, the Garden Green Dragons would start the 86 season after finishing 5-5 in 85 with a brand new coach. Coach Roger Rife became the new coach before the 86 season. The team would be picked to finish third in the district by the coaches that year. The team would get off to a 4-3 start in 86 with some tough competition. Correct, guys? And however, what would transpire in the following 7 weeks will surely never be forgotten. So today, I'd like to welcome everybody to the podcast, and I'm going to pass the mics down. Some of you have mics, and let everybody introduce themselves.
I'm Rich Street.
Danny Brown.
John O'Keen.
Randy McNulty.
Roger Rife.
Roby Hale.
Kyle King.
David Musick. David Ratliff.
Alrighty, guys, now that the introduction is out of the way, what I'd like to do is kind of start off with the start of the season, everything. As I said before, you guys was 5-5. I guess most of you was on the 85 team, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Coach Stewart Sutherland was the head coach that year, and then Roger would take over in 86, correct?
Correct.
Alrighty. So we'll start the season off in August of that year. Like I said, the coaches poll, which they do normally, right, Roger? They'll have all the coaches pick who they think is going to finish first, second, third, whatever. And we had a little more of a stacked district back then compared to now, of course, because there's only, honestly, 3 teams left in the district. You guys would start the season off with Big Creek, West Virginia. Any memories of that game in particular? Y'all would win that one in a tight game, 10-8.
Yes, I think we won that one there on a field goal by Brad Davis.
Yeah. Anybody else got anything? Make sure you hold the mics up.
Well, I don't know. I just remember that they were one of the better. They were one of the better They were one of the better West Virginia teams.
Yeah.
We had a couple on our schedule that year, but they were a really physical and tough team. I think it was a good starting game for us because I think it kind of kick-started our season.
Yeah.
Anybody else got anything on that?
Yeah, kind of.
Roby.
I remember they had some really big backs.
Yeah.
And small as I was playing on the line. We had them down here in this territory, and I can remember recovering a fumble down close to the goal line.
Yeah, they had, I think some of their linemen actually running the ball, and it was, I watched it the other day, and it was a physical game. But like Roby said, I think it was a good starter for us, kind of point us where we need to go.
That was something about a lot of the 80 teams, 1980s teams. There was a lot of physicality with most of the teams that y'all faced. Anybody else got anything on that one? Okay. So then I see Homeacre must have been a little bit different than they have in the past 20, 25 years at this point. You guys would beat Homeacre here at home 20-0 in week 2. Any memories on Homeacre and what kind of a team they had at that point in time? I know they were probably very, were they actually in the Black Diamond District at that point? Because I know they were actually in another district before that.
Yeah, because we had it was Homeacre, Hayside, Pocahontas, Hurley, St. Paul, and us. There were 6 teams, right, Robert? 6 district games.
I think Homeacre was in our district.
Yeah, Homeacre was, yeah.
Yeah.
So you had Hayside, Honaker, Hurley, Garden, Pocahontas, and St. Paul.
Yeah.
I think we're the 6
Yeah.
district teams.
6 teams, I
Yeah.
believe. Yeah. But yeah, and then I'm not familiar with this one, guys. Newcastle in week 3. What can y'all tell me about them?
Newcastle there was a pretty good trip for us going up there, first of all.
I guess y'all went up there in '85 because this one was home in '86.
Yeah, we went 87. We went up.
Anyway, we, took care of them pretty good there.
27-6. Yeah.
But I guess, well, go ahead there on the rest of them. I think about one. I think about a funny story though. Over man, West Virginia.
We ain't got that one yet.
That's next.
Yeah, we're coming up on that in a minute. Now,
I can remember Danny Brown scoring a touchdown on Newcastle.
Yeah.
so next up, I remember Twin Springs was pretty talented in a lot of sports. I remember their basketball teams in the 1980s were always pretty tough and everything, even into the 90s.
Well, that game, we turned the ball over 7 times.
And only lost 7-0.
That's why we lost 7-0. We literally fumbled the ball 7 times in one game. And that's the only reason I feel like we really lost that game. So we turned the ball over.
So you all was definitely the better team in
Oh,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah, hands down.
We gave that away.
Gave that game away.
Yeah.
We did.
Okay. I know Roger had mentioned something about the trip up to Man on October the 3rd of that year. Any memories of that, guys? That I'll pass the mic.
I got lost.
That was the hardest hitting bunch I played
It
against.
is.
Yeah.
I mean, they was huge.
They were about the biggest boys we ever faced, besides the first West Virginia team.
Yeah. I just remember we dressed here. And Roger told us we got there, put your helmet on, we're walking off the bus. we went into the stadium, and people were yelling and throwing stuff out of the stadium. And we played the game, and we went and got on the bus and went home. Wasn't no change of clothes, nothing.
So you're telling me, Roby, that y'all dressed here
Dressed here.
and drove on the bus with your pants on.
Had our shoulder pads and helmet, yeah, fully dressed, all with our pads on. Yep.
That was a very uncomfortable bus ride, wasn't it?
But they did get us pizza after the game.
I remember normally never have to help pass block with Randy, but there was one of the guys that's coming through was doing a pretty good job with Randy. I had to help him. He had a beard longer than Red sticking out his helmet. And I thought, well, that's pretty good beard being in high school,
I think maybe some birth certificates should have been checked there.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was one of the most physical games that I can remember. I know the first play of the game, the guy that I was head up with, we knew the call, and then all of a sudden he grabbed a hold of me, and he looked left, and he looked right, and slammed me down in the ground. And I went back to huddle. I said, Randy, it's going to be a tough game, buddy. And it was a physical game, I'm telling you.
Then I come back to the huddle looking at him and said, I need help, not you, me.
Well, I think what was determined in that game, I think really did kick this team off. If we can go there and compete, listen, we lost 15-0. A lot of teams lost a lot worse than we did. But coming back from that game, I think we kind of knew how tough we really were.
They were the size of a small college team.
Yeah.
Yeah, 15-3, yeah. 15-3,
I said one word about that.
Yeah.
Man there, but the late Edgar Childress was a spotter up on the press box, and he hollered at me and he said, Coach said they're awful big. I said, yeah, I see it there. I said, they look like the West Virginia Mountaineers to me there. I said, a funny story I want to tell about that. I don't know where I remember not. Anyway, we were close to halftime. We were about midfield, and I was wanting to punt. They didn't have the 15 points in there, and I had punted away, and hopefully we can hold it till halftime. Anyway, I was out there in the huddle talking to them. I don't know where you remember that now. I've got no one blocking. what you know. Here come Brad Davis out on the field. He was a kicker, punter. I said, "Who sent you out here?" He said, "Coach Kurt." I said, "What did he send you out here for?" He said, "To go for a field goal." I said, "A field goal? Does he know where we're at?" And he said, "I guess." I said, "Well, go ahead and try it. I want to see that myself. I ain't never seen that." And he kicked and it fell down on the 30-yard line.
Wow.
So one thing I like to ask Coach Rife and the staff and your players here is, who was on your coaching staff that year in '86?
Well, we had Jack Rife. We had Coach Ray Jones there. And Edgar Childress. And we had Kurt Osprey. Danny Rasnick.
Danny, yeah.
Danny Rasnick.
Yeah.
Curtis Short, yeah.
Curtis Short. Yeah.
Well, I knew Coach Jones was your defensive coordinator, and he was a heck of a coach.
He was intense.
He was
Well,
And
sir,
it's-
I'll say one thing on is he told me one day, he said, "Coach, I got 28 different defenses." I said, 28? We're lucky to teach them two.
Well, you had a good coaching staff. I do know that.
I know. Before we get back to going through game by game and everything, you guys mentioned Coach Jones, and of course, you know, all know he had passed recently and everything. I guess I thought it would be a good idea maybe if you pass the mic down and maybe give some thoughts on Coach Jones, each of you.
He was a special, not only a special guy, but he was a special coach. I was telling my wife, my daughter this morning, I remember during the playoffs that when he would come out during a play and we'd be in a huddle, and then when he would squat down, he would point at each one of us. You got to do this, and stuff, and like the crowd was full. They're there. And they would rise up, and just like the momentum the crowd was super loud.
I know, guys, I was always wondering about that myself. I seen a lot of pictures, and I always seen him like this, like he was, I don't know, like a general in the army.
It was like when you listened to him, you was pumped up and you was ready to fight.
Yeah.
When that ball.
Yeah, you could literally see the intensity in a lot of the pictures of him.
Let me tell you what he did. Right down here, we was practicing one day, and he's kind of getting aggravated at us about not hitting. He put on a helmet and one of them pads and said, "Y'all line up in a line and come at one at a time." And we was like, if we didn't hit him hard, it made him mad. So we had to hit him. But some of the most precious memories I ever had in my life was right here and with these guys here.
That was one of the reasons why, guys, I was wanting to have you here. I know the conditions are not, I guess, perfect as far as the weather and stuff being pretty hot and everything, but I thought it was a good thing to have it here on this field, where y'all made so many memories in '86 at. But I guess pass it to David here.
Well, these boys here, I love them like brothers. I mean, we always were close from the time we played Pee Wee up until we were in high school and played in varsity.
Yeah.
And we always had pretty good teams. And the older we got, the better we got. And Coach Jones was a wonderful man. He really had a way to motivate you, which Coach Rife, he come up with some stuff to help motivate us too throughout the season. And these coaches were just, I think, the world of them and these players.
Well, speaking of having a thinker, at the '86 team, I was a tech at a coaching clinic. And Coach Beamer wanted me to get up and tell the rest of the coaches why I run a certain play against Powell Valley was the play there, but I told them, you know, I always thought football was a simple game. I said, you know, we had 8 holes we could run through. I like to run the ball. And that way, and passes could be good one way, but 2 ways bad. Anyway, I said, I only had 8 plays. I done used 7 of them. I thought I'd try the 8th, and it went for a double reverse 65-yard touchdown. I said, I'll never forget that. He asked me why I run that play.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Okay.
That's all I had.
Yeah, Coach Jones, he always had energy for the game. But a lot of my memories being in his class when he teach. You get him on football, he forgot all about school. You got out no homework, no tests. He was full of the whole class.
I've had teachers like that myself.
Yeah. Super nice guy.
Yeah, I think I could tell a whole lot. I loved him there, and I like that there. And he come to me with a lot of his problems there, especially there, you know, some of his marriage problems and everything there. But bless his heart, I ain't gonna tell that there, but he was always hyped up. He was always excited. He was always trying to motivate. And like I told him there, though, I did tell him there a couple of times, there's something else in life besides football, you know. I said, now me, I love it, but also I look forward to the big Super Bowl game. And that is the game of life. Whenever you finish and leave here, I call that the Super Bowl. I want to win the Super Bowl bigger than I do any of these games.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I kind of, I guess, I preached to him a lot of times. You know, when he had problems. But I loved him dearly there. I remember one game over at Pennington Gap, and he didn't get many penalties, but he run down there and all of them refs. They throw the flag on him. He come back up through there and got behind the crowd there, and I was looking around there. I said, that's all right. But he was, sir. He was very special and a great coach, and I loved him really good. He'd come to the house a lot of times and talk to me about his problems and everything. But he was special there. I remember when I told him I wasn't going to eat no grass, so he could eat no grass.
I was getting ready to tell you about it. I said,
Okay.
He would get out here and practice.
I think I've heard this story, but I didn't know if it was
He
true.
would get so fired up, he would eat grass out here at practice. But I think the thing I remember about him is like when we were in games that were really, really close and we needed to make a stop. He could come out there, like Dave said, he would point and say, they ain't scoring no touchdown. Now, y'all forget it, Powell Valley, I can remember several games. He came in that huddle, and it was late, and we were tired, and we were beat up, and we'd been playing games, and teams as big as us, and we were swapping spit and forearm and clothesline each other the whole game. But he always had that moment that he could come out there and say, y'all ain't gonna let them score. And most of the time it worked.
Yeah.
99%.
Yeah.
It worked. So that's what I remember most about him. Because we had good leaders, good leader coaches.
Yeah, Ray Jones was one of the best, and Jack Rife was another great coach. Don't want to forget him, but Ray, he did eat the grass. He coached way over our heads. But
He did.
He was a good one.
I can remember he was extremely intense. He'd have a different defense for every team. I played defense all year, played offense, but he would have me in a different spot every game. I went everywhere from nose guard to linebacker to free safety to defensive end, depending on the team. And what he would do is he would study the films and know what the team was going to do when they were in a particular set. And he was 99.9% of the time correct.
Correct. Yeah. Very true.
Wow.
One of my favorite memories of Coach Jones when we played Powell Valley.
Yeah.
We come out, we warmed up, went over on the sideline. He told me he's Brown. He said, go out there. He said, knock the hell out of somebody. They made fun of my banks. I said, Coach, well, I got you. Because he wore a pair of green, white.
short. It remember if it's snowing green,
Yeah,
white shorts.
it was checkered. And he told me, he said, they make fun of my banks. Go out there and knock the hell
From
out of
some of the pictures I've seen, I believe he was very fashionable.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, Red.
What I remember so much about Jones, that's what I always called him, was Jones. And in PE, he could not stand to be called Jones. But what I remember about him, when he'd come out to psych us up, is you could feel those stands. I mean, you could see them stands shake. They loved him as much as what we did. I mean, he was a special man, you know. There'd never be another like him.
Okay, guys, on the games and everything, I guess the next one up is on October the 10th, you all was traveled to Hayside, and from what I gather here, it was their debut in the Black Diamond District that year. Do y'all remember that? Because that's what it says. I'll read this here. Garden impressed coaches and players throughout the county last Friday night as they tamed the Tigers of Hayside 30-14 in their Black Diamond District debut. Maybe that
was their first district.
Yeah.
might have
Yeah,
been.
yeah, they
I was
were.
thinking that might have been the year that they came into the district. I know I see they've got pictures here of I guess their quarterback, Terry Gull.
Terry
Yeah,
Gull,
yeah,
they were
Terry
really
Gull.
good. They were really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a lot of skilled players, and that I would say on the year that was one of our most complete games we played, wasn't it? Offense and defense. I mean, they were a handful on defense now because they could throw and they could run and they were
Yeah, I
fast.
see he was like 18 of 31 on passing that night.
And we sacked him quite a few times though. He was on his back a lot too, which we enjoyed seeing that. But they were a good. They were a really good team that year. They were good. One of the better teams in the area.
Anybody else got anything on Hayside? Do y'all that you want to speak on?
I know the Gullies were fast. I ran track against them too.
Yeah. Okay. I guess, and then the long trip to Pennington the next week. 7-8 loss. Defensive affair there apparently.
Again, we turned the ball over. We were driving late to score to win the game, and we fumbled going in to score, and the clock which ran out of time. We had several turnovers in that game. To be honest, of our 7-3 record, we should have been no worse than. We should have lost the man because they were just better.
Yeah.
But we should have been 9-1. Everybody saw our record like, oh, let's be honest. The two games that we lost, we beat ourselves.
Twin Springs and
we
the
beat
Pennington,
ourselves. We surely did. We just had games where we just turned the ball over. Roger tell you, we just turned it over. And you turn over, you lose.
Yeah.
On that one game where Twin Springs, I remember I had a parent come in and ask me why his son didn't play. And I left that player in there that fumbled 3 times. I said, he fumbled 3 times, I agree, but he's also done a great job building games there, and you go with what you see every day instead of one night there. And he got mad at me there, and I threatened him a little bit there. He left there. I told him, your son will play when I tell you he will play.
Yeah.
Until he does, Get out of here.
I know the stats on this game is they're very small. I can't hardly see these, sure, but I guess there was a lot of turnovers. It looks like I see 6 fumbles. Is that correct?
Twin Springs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we turned ball to 7 times.
And 2 interceptions. Is that correct? 6 or 7.
Probably 2.
Yeah, we're not proud of it.
That's the game that we walked in that locker room. We knew we'd let somebody win and shouldn't have won a game. We knew that going in that locker room that day.
Yeah.
Knocked my head down.
The Pennington game for us, I think, was a big turnaround.
Yep.
You know, we let ourselves down so much, and it made us play harder. You know, the rest of the season, I think.
Well, you know, like Red just said, following that game, y'all would not lose another game until the state title game, and go on quite a run following that game. Do you remember anything like post game there? Because I always wondered about that. It's like
Who'd we play next?
Next after that was St. Paul.
So we knew to accomplish our goals.
Yeah.
We couldn't lose any more games.
I think that Monday when we come back to
Yeah.
practice, we realized.
We got to
this
win
is
this.
it.
This is it. We
Yep.
got to win these games.
Yep.
And we knew we had Hurley coming up too.
Yep.
We'd already beaten Hayside, which Hayside and Hurley were pre-season were the top 2 teams.
Yeah, I never did see that
It was
coach's poll
Hurley
of
and
who was
Hayside
1 and 2.
us, and,
Oh, okay.
So we'd already taken care of one, and we knew what we had ahead of us. And we knew that if we were going to do what we felt like we could do, we had to. From that moment on, we had to do it.
Yeah. And you know, we was mentioning about St. Paul that next game and everything. 43-20, and that was your homecoming, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And listen, they were good. They had Benny Burrell. Y'all remember
Yeah,
Benny? They had a running back that
1,000
was he
Yeah,
was a handful, man. Like anybody knew he was good.
Yeah, Coach Jones, if
yeah,
y'all
he was
remember,
really, really
he said he
good,
better
yeah.
not get 1,000 yards in this game.
Yeah,
So he was
yeah.
close to
Well, I
getting
see
1,000
actually
yards.
the paper here says that St. Paul only had 79 yards on the night.
That's probably right.
They had that. Their running back was legit.
Yeah.
Like he was really good.
What I remember about that though, I remember Ray Jones saying, "Don't let Benny Burrell get outside because there's nobody on the team fast enough to catch him." Not even Richard Bourne.
Yeah.
And I caught him twice.
I was just gonna say, like after games like a Pennington game, you know, I mean, it's like old school, but you know, the bus was silent on the way back. You know, there was no partying, no laughing, cutting up, because you need to sit and think what you did and what you didn't do this game. And we had some coaches that, you know, I've seen some newer ones. You know, after they win or lose, it's just like they still have a party, or you know, still happy-go-lucky. It wasn't like that for us. You know, you lost. Sit down and shut up, and think about what you didn't do right.
So next up, of course, probably one of the most famous games from the season with during the regular season, that is the Hurley game. And I know, thankfully, I've got the video this morning from the newscast and everything. That was pretty neat to watch and everything. I really appreciated that. But I'm sure there's a lot of thoughts on that. I know I've heard a lot about Red from that game having an exceptional game, so I'll pass the mic on to him and get his thoughts.
I guess I was lucky that night, I reckon. I mean, you know, you couldn't have got that many sacks. I mean, if it wasn't for them front boys, you know, opening it up for me and Danny. I mean, James, Johnny, Kelly.
Real quick, what was the stat total for you that night?
Oh, shoot, I can't even remember.
Because I always heard it was 8, but I think that's kind of odd, because if you look in the state record book, and they update it all the time, the record is held by like 6 different players or whatever at 6 sacks. So I'm not sure why Red wasn't never there.
I don't know. I remember the block punt was the best one, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when I blocked that punt and Randy recovered it in the end zone, it was just something else.
Well, I remember seeing that clip that was sent to us, Red, and the very words you said, "It always feels good when you beat Hurley." That's what you said in that clip. So it's always good because always Garden and Hurley had a rival going on.
Yeah.
So it's always good to beat Hurley, and I'm assuming Hurley feels the same way. But you guys really done real good that night.
You know, my comment, you talking about Red there, Hurley's quarterback told me, we've been good too there, said Red would come in, tackle him, slam him to the ground, help him up. So I'll be back in a minute.
I'm going to assume we're talking about Cooper.
Hey, listen, he got sacked so many times that night. I know he thought he played on our team.
Well, in my opinion, that's hard-nosed football, and that's what all of you guys and everybody on your team knew. Because back in that day, it's hard-nosed football. It's wonder you don't see it this day and time. It's wonder that some of you guys don't have brain damage because you hit so hard. You know what I'm saying? You used to see them little spots. You hit somebody so hard, you see them little spots in your eyes. You know, now that's concussion. So every one of us had that. You guys had that because you've laid a lick or got a lick like that before.
Well, I know Cooper didn't get hit that many times because they were on their third quarterback when we finished the game.
He had enough, didn't he?
But you know, people about our defense, what I don't know a lot of people realize, we ran a 6-2 defense. And if you watch our film, when the ball snapped, they were 6 people going to the backfield. So David and John and Richard, they were on islands all the time defending the pass. And you know, you got to give them credit for us to do what we have to do, what Ray wanted us to do. He wanted us to get after the quarterback. He wanted 6 people hitting him every time, but that left those 3 back there, and they did a fabulous job all year.
Yep.
Well, they had to know what to do. They had to know where all the receivers was going so they can cover, and just luckily they done it.
Yeah.
You know, you top 6, front 6 going after the ball. Them 3 behind you, 4 behind, 3 or 4 behind you's got to make sure there's no passing.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I do remember one game that Dave and I, we played defensive end, and Coach Jones said, I don't want you contained, I want you done. That dive back, I want you to hit him every time he touches the ball. So when they run off tackle, Dave and I would first thing, and he would run the linebackers. I mean, just stuff like that all the time. We would all do such unique things on defense that people ain't think about. Like defensive ends normally just contain and keep the quarterback in sacking. But oh no, we would be diving in there, hitting people on
Specific job.
line of scrimmage.
Yep.
Yeah, he would tell us, you know, we had a specific job, and that's what we had to do. And I know one game, I think it was Twin Springs. We done talked about that we lost, but he told me, he said, you got one job. I think they run a power eye or something like that. He said, you take that first back out. Every time. You take that first one out. And I did my best that night. And but actually, I think he gave me a player of the game that game, but we still lost, you know. But I mean, it's kind of bittersweet anyway. But he would tell you to do and what to do, and you had to do it.
Yeah, you know, Dave, that defense we were using there. And when I was over at Hurley there, before I came here, Roger Gibbs was a helping coach there. And that was what he taught all the time. 6'2", hit the ball, don't let him get out of the backfield, get to the quarterback quicker, you know, and everything. 6'2" inside, linebacker, 6'2" outside, and like I said there, I tried to tell, talking about Ray there, you don't need 28. You know, you need to do 3 or 4 real good, you know. And, that was, like you said there, whenever Red didn't have him, little John went between legs and everything else there, and
Danny would
got
go,
in the
if it
backfield.
wasn't Red, and
Danny Brown there, no.
if they blocked down, then Dave and I got to eat.
You guys are turn with it.
Yep.
Like I said, them boys, these boys really propelled me into politics. When I ran for state senate, they didn't call me nothing but Coach Rife. You know, I said there.
Yeah.
Out of 86 there. And I remember, I tell too many stories there, but you know Tom Rife over Richlands?
He was a basketball coach.
Yeah.
Tom told me, kind of kin to me a little bit, but he told me, he said, what got you beating Tazewell County? He thought that Coach Rife was him. But really, I'll never forget these kids. They're as low as over there. But I mean, if they're on their season, I'll tell as we go along there. But the Powell Valley game, Phil Robbins.
Yeah.
Had just won a couple. Well, I went to school with him at Emory. He come in as a freshman. We called him Freddie Frosh. I was older than him. But he come in here, what was it, 10-0, 11-0, something like that.
Yeah.
And he talked to me and wished me good luck. Well, after the game, I tried to get a hold of him. He wouldn't like him, wouldn't come out. He wouldn't even talk to me. But, like I said, some great kids can give you a lot of publicity. They do it. And I've always said now, like I said about everything, you know, I'll come from Whitewood to Garden to Grundy to Hurley, back to Garden.
You know, you coach every school, so in case council was to be closed in the near future, you ought to go over and coach something now. That way you can say you coached every school in the county.
I always joke, and my wife says you joke too much there, but they asked me why I never went to council.
Yeah.
Back in them days there, and I told them, no, there's too many Democrats over there for me. And then Bill Davis had a service station. When I come back from Hurley to Garden, he said, "What are you doing back up there around?" I said, "About every 4 years they find me out, Bill. I got to get out of town again." But hey, like I said, sports is great, and it's made a lot of good young people out here to get them involved. But I always told them, it ain't a life-ending thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We won't win, but at the same time,
Yeah.
but they made me proud that 86 team member. I got more publicity out of that.
We can help. But
I remember one of our teachers here, I believe it was a Roanoke Channel there I was talking about after the game there, and they were showing clips of him. She said, "Did you see that chew in the background on the side of his face there?" I said, I was excited.
Well, we talked about the Hurley game, and in that little clip, Coach, you said I had to get the guys motivated, and you put a rebel flag up. You remember that, Coach?
Yeah, I was always there. I was just trying to motivate. And I think
I'm gonna guess. I know this happened at other schools too. I'm gonna guess you blamed it on Hurley, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. Look what these Hurley players did. They came over here and put their
I
flag
don't
up.
know who snipped in.
Yeah.
But we'll get in with them. Talking about motivation, though. You know, my wife, we was getting ready to go down and play Grundy. My wife graduated Grundy. My mom graduated Grundy in 1936. My son graduated Grundy. I was telling the team, you know, all that there. But I said, that don't mean I like them. Let's go get them.
Oh goodness.
But motivation there was
Motivation.
a lot of
Can get a lot of things done.
and then
But after the 6-0 game with Hurley, y'all would finish the regular season November 7th at Pocahontas, and we know that's a miserable trip.
No, it rained. It was. I mean, it rained so hard you couldn't see the whole game.
Wow.
It was a mess. It was
Water hose on the field.
Water
That might be the reason there wasn't no pictures from that game.
Oh no, well you wouldn't. No, everybody was brown.
You see the article in the paper, they just put the team photo on
Oh
it.
yeah, they wasn't.
John O caught a touchdown pass and it was raining. I wouldn't even look out. I don't know how in the world he got
It got called back. Just like it was.
So you said that pass and touchdown got called back, right?
Yeah.
What happened? Can you remember?
Somebody hit somebody in the back is what I
Or
can
something.
remember.
Clipping or something?
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
I remember jumping over the Pocahontas player and landing on his legs in the end zone with my cleats. But I can remember Johnny King go sliding through the mud over there after the game.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, I do remember that.
So you finished the regular season 7-3, and as a Hurley graduate myself, I guess I can understand now their hatred towards Garden.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all finished 7-3, and they finished 9-1, and they're sitting at home.
Yeah, that's very true.
I'm sure that hatred blew over into the basketball season that year, especially with someone like Mark Cooper.
It did. But we had a better team than 7-3.
Oh, yeah.
We should have been 9-1. Yeah.
Yeah.
In 2 games we gave away. I mean, 7 fumbles.
Yeah, anytime you fumble the football 7 times, you ain't gonna win.
Probably in those 2 games, we probably fumbled 12, 15 times in 2 games.
So when you fumble 12, 15 times, you're not gonna win
You're not gonna
regardless.
win those games. It don't matter how, because they didn't score on us. Very little. The scores they got came off turnovers.
Right.
And they didn't have a long field to go. But it's just you cannot put yourself behind the sticks.
So we
Like
got beat, what, 7-0 and 8-7?
8-7, 7-0. Yeah.
15 turnovers in
Yeah,
2
and
games.
in 2 games, you can't win like that.
So, you go into the playoffs, two shutouts, Hurley 6-0, Pocahontas 43-0, and then you've got Powell Valley. Definitely want to hear some comments on this. And I know it was a very big game.
And they'll probably remember this too. The morning of the game, we came in, and all the news people were out there interviewing all the Powell Valley players, and they were out there talking. All they could say was, "Man, we sure hope Clintwood wins so we can play them next week for the regional championship." Standing right in front of the school up there.
Yeah.
So they already looked
Oh,
past
yeah.
you guys.
Oh yeah.
So I always tell teams when they look past you guys, you'll beat them. You know.
Every time.
Yeah, that was a tough game. I mean, they were brutal. They were some big old boys. And as a friend of mine had a service station up there, and he had people. I think they came over pretty cocky, and they'd pull in up at the service station. You know where this Garden High School football field? He said it's right down here on the left, across the bridge. He said, I ain't never heard of that. Well, he said, well, you fixing to. You're fixing to see who the Garden team is.
With the with the microphone down there, I'll let you pass it over to you.
There it is.
Yep.
That's you.
Yeah,
Want to describe this for me?
That was it 38 reverse?
No, it's double slot, double twins, double reverse.
It was
Right.
a reverse.
Yeah.
And I think Roby give it to maybe Kyle. I think then
Yeah,
Kyle.
I think I gave it to
Richard.
Richard.
Or Richard for
flipped
one
it
of
to you,
them.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
they
they give it to
Fake
me.
it, Kyle off the dive, gave it to Richard. Yeah.
And Richard give it to me, and then I went around the end not touched.
Yeah.
These guys done their job. I couldn't have done it without them. And I was giving it all I could getting down that sideline too.
I know, I don't know who wrote this or anything. I know Sam Bartley took the picture. It says, running for daylight. Gardens David Musick turns the ball up the sidelines on a double reverse play late in the final quarter. Saturday at the Dragons home field, Musick traveled 71 yards before reaching the end zone untouched. And if you notice in the picture, look all around him.
Yeah.
And in my mind, that's probably the reason y'all succeeded. It was a team game.
Yeah, I remember.
I mean, I don't even see any of the other teams.
No.
I remember him coming around that end, and me
Yeah,
and Kelly.
actually, you're right. One is laying over there.
Red just took him out.
Yeah, me and Kelly was leading him around that end, and I think there was 3 Powell Valley players there. And I remember me and Kelly hitting them. You can see them on the sideline, laying on the sideline right there.
Yeah.
Well, if anybody watched that game, and that was a brutal game though. They were really good. Like they were big. They were undefeated. They were what 24-0, defending state champions, and they had lost it.
So they had went through the schedule the year before as well.
They won the state the year before, then they were coming in here undefeated to go to the second state championship. That was their goal. And but that game was so physical. Like I fumbled twice in that game. We're down there fourth trying to score around a quarterback sneak, and I was reaching the ball out to try to get the first down. It got slapped out of my hand. We were down there inside the 10, getting ready to fourth down, but we were getting ready to score. You don't forget things like that.
Well, I know you mentioned about your fumbles, but if I can read this right, they fumbled quite a bit.
They fumbled, yes.
It says 6-5. I'm assuming that's 6 fumbles, 5 lost.
Yeah, and if anybody, Robbie Fox was a really good running back.
Yep.
He was about 230 pounds, and he was a handful, y'all.
Yep.
But,
I say he was sore the next day.
yeah, I say he was sore though, because listen, man, we stayed after him all day. But getting back to David's play, it's late in the game. There's 5 minutes left, something. We're down here about our 29, 30-yard line, and it's third. It's 3rd and 10, and we're like, and we called a timeout, went over there, and Roger said, "Listen, let's just run it." I said, "Look," I said, "what we got to lose?" I said, "Look," I said, "it's 3rd down." I said, "If he said, you got 2, 3 people got to touch the ball on that play." I'm like, "It's okay." I said, if we get sacked for a 10-yard loss, we still got to punt it. We still got to hold them for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But I said, but the reward, so we called it, and the rest is history.
At the time of the play, what was the score?
It was 8-0.
8-0.
And they would drive, we would drive, they would drive. It's just everybody would stop, and like nobody could. But they got deep one time. We stopped them, but that play, it was just like it was a risk, but. Their defensive ends have been crashing all day. Like they were really hard down to the line of scrimmage because we ran a lot of off-tackle stuff with Kyle and Richard, and we ran a lot of stuff off-tackle because we had 2 of the best tackles around here. So we ran a lot of off-tackle between guards. Our offensive line was really good, and so it just worked out.
Go ahead, John. Using that.
I can remember what I would think would be one of the most important plays that day. Palvalli was down on this end of the field, just about ready to score a touchdown. Called a play. Robbie Fox got the ball. Dave Ratliff come in, hit him, come down the line, crashed down the line, hit him, knocked the ball out, landed in Red Street's hands. Red took off running back that way with it. So that got us out of a big hole.
And then let's not forget Richard on the little. Richard Horn they threw a pass at the end of the game, and Richard jumped up and last minute, it would have been a touchdown, tie the game, and Richard deflected that pass right there on that corner of that end zone right there.
I know I've seen his name in the paper a lot. I know I've seen his name in the paper a lot that season.
Oh, Richard was a good player.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Fast.
But I want to piggyback off what some of these guys said. Like Palvalli, they hadn't lost a game in like 2 seasons or something. Defending state champions. They didn't know where we were, where our school was. Never heard of Garden Creek Dragons. I bet they'll never forget about it.
That's right.
But they had the game won before they got over here. They forgot they had to play us, and they had to beat us on the field.
Yeah.
And we was ready for them.
And they wasn't just playing on any field.
No.
That triple reverse there at Palvalli set up. It was a play that set up in the next game against Clintwood. Two big, huge plays. That one play for that game set it up for the next game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure did. Yep. That's what I was thinking.
So I guess we'll move on to the Clintwood game and everything. 15-12. Y'all got any memories of that one?
You scored in that, didn't you, Dave?
Got my first touchdown.
Yep. He sure did. He sure did. Let's picture that in paper too.
Quite a historical school too, as far as football goes, with
Tell me,
Clintwood and everything.
The fumble,
It was-
and it landed right in my hand.
The fumble bounced right in his hands. He took off, and again, like your picture, if you look at the picture in the paper, Red's behind him, and I'm standing, and we're running right behind him, and ain't nobody but the end zone him.
I was sitting there, as a lineman and defensive end, I never got to run the ball, and so, but that game, I don't know, I can't remember who hit the running back,
I think
but
it was Danny.
Danny hit
I
it,
think Danny hit
and
it.
it landed right in my hands, and I thought, run! And I took off
Run,
running. I
Forrest,
thought
run.
I ran as hard as I could run, you know, and I just knew that I was going. Somebody fast was going to catch me. And later on, I found out through the watching the videos that Red, Roby, I had nothing but green behind me.
No way.
And I couldn't hardly breathe when I got down there. But I was like, I made it, boys. You know, but oh gosh, it was something else. I knew I was caught.
Didn't we all score on defense that year?
Pretty much, I think
I
so.
think everybody scored to play defense.
Oh, yeah. I think that year we had like 10 or 11 of us that scored defense touchdowns that year.
That's unheard of. That's unheard of now. If you get 1 or 2 scores on defense now, you're doing good. But you got to look. You guys as athletes, every one of you is athletes back in that age, and you're hard nosed, and you wanted to hit people.
Oh yeah, we all love to hit people. Yeah, we love to hit people.
Yeah,
And,
each other.
I enjoyed hitting people more than I did somebody hitting me. You know what I'm saying?
It don't hurt as bad if you hit somebody, does it?
Well, you got to remember, in 10 games during the regular season, we only gave up 335 yards rushing in 10 games. Now, y'all do that math. In 10 games.
That's pretty daggone good numbers.
And for over a whole 10 games, that's not including the playoffs, that's just the regular season. You know, there are a lot of teams that maybe had great players, but nobody had our
You know, we talk a lot about our defense, but you know, we had a good defense, great defense, but we had a good offense too. I mean, we run the ball most of the time, and that big old horse that's sitting over there is why Kyle. He was a horse now. I mean,
And you know, we didn't pass a lot, but if you look in the playoff run, we had some critical passes against Powell Valley. We had a 48-yard. You know, we just had to sneak them in, didn't we, when we needed them? And
it was really fortunate, I call it season. You know, I thought we had a lot of luck and we had a lot of skill. But talking about Clintwood there, I don't remember Thurman. Right before halftime, we decided there to try to hold about 1 o'clock out.
Yep.
I don't know when you remember, I told you, stay up, run wide, don't go down. And hoping the clock would run out, and then they got it. Well, I thought sure, but then Clintwood would kick a field goal out there, they went to the road.
Yeah.
They tried 2 or 3 plays, and we stopped them on all 3 of them, and clock run out there, and then we still had a 3-point lead there, you know.
Well, I think like David, and then, like Kyle was talking earlier in that game against Clintwood, you know, we got down. At the end, we were down. It was 12-7. And we got the ball, we drove, and we were, around the 30-yard line maybe, and we had 4th and 10. So that we went back to that play, so a little wrinkle this time. Instead of David running it, he threw it to me. Well, if anybody watched the game, when the pass came off, it was really high. And I think the good Lord intervened in heaven, but whatever. But I hit it and got it flipping, and I juggled it and got it in bounds and caught it. And then 3 plays later, it's 4th and 10 again, but we had another wrinkle. Kyle was the dive back that took the fake on the dive. Well, he would go down 10 yards and he would hook, and then I would go out in the flat. So the first play went to me. Well, when we ran the play again, everybody thought it was going to me. Well, they all took off. David kind of looked at me and then turned around, and he hit Kyle on the 1-yard line. And the next play, we scored. And, you know, we get the 2-point conversion. That was the game. But it took 3 versions of that play sealed 2 regional games of the same play, but 3 different breeds of it.
Yeah.
And that for people that's just, a lot of people don't know that, but it was the same formation, same principle, just 1 out, 1 hook, and 1 dive, and it was all, and 1 reverse run. It was all the same play, just 4 different versions of it.
That last one, I told David in the huddle, I said it was supposed to went to Roby, and it was going to try it again. We had to get to like the 1 yard line in between to get a first down.
Yeah.
It was fourth and had to get within there to get a first down. I told David in the huddle, I said, the last time done this, I was wide open. Looked for me in the end zone. And sure enough, I seen it coming, and I jumped up and tipped it between me and that defender. And I fell down and caught it on about the 6-inch yard line. After we come off the field, Roger looked at me and said, what was that? I said, a first down, I guess. He said, well, it worked.
Hey, listen.
Don't question it if it works. Then.
But I want to, talk a little bit about the Clintwood game and the Powell Valley game. Powell Valley didn't know us, didn't know we was as good as we were. They had the game won before they come over here. But Clintwood and everybody else knew what we done to Powell Valley. We put the hurting on them. And then Clintwood come over here prepared for us.
Yeah, they were ready to play.
They were ready to play us. Powell Valley weren't. They looked past us.
Defensively, they were probably better, I thought, than Powell Valley. I don't know.
Yeah.
Defensively, they were really good defensively.
Well, I thought they were better than Powell Valley, honestly.
Yeah, they were better.
I
yeah.
thought.
They can ring you better,
But
that's for sure.
they hit hard.
Yep.
They did.
But, I was just going to say that I think Clintwood was prepared for us and Powell Valley looked over us. And we had a great season.
And I'm going to add a little bit on that. We had a secret weapon on our offense. Reb was right. We had a pretty decent offense. We could get it going. We had a quarterback that if we needed a couple yards, hey, quarterback sneak, he could fall forward and get 5 yards.
That's what I was going to say.
I'll never forget that. Come on, Roby, let's go.
That's what I was going to say. He's big enough to be able to do that back then too.
Yeah, but I weighed a lot less back then.
Yeah, but what'd you weigh your senior year?
About 200, a little over 200 pounds.
How many quarterbacks you see now weigh at?
Quite a few now, but back.
Tell him about his hand.
I don't guess there was any need for a tush push back then.
No. Well, you know, when you play quarterback, you got to have a real short memory. You can't, and when you make a mistake, you just have to, you got to move on and go. If you sit there and dwindle on it, and that was what's so good about this team. If I fumbled, if Kyle fumbled, if we dropped the pass, anything that happened, nobody ever.
Next play.
It's even down there against Powell Valley going in to score. We never blinked. We could have scored. We didn't make the fourth down. Let's stop them and get the ball back and do it again. It's just the way the team was all year.
Yeah, I hated when he called quarterback sneak.
Yeah. Well, we did have Danny tell you, Danny. We had a play that if I came up to the line of scrimmage and the nose men would slide off, I would tap Danny on the right side or the left side of his hind end, and I would. It wouldn't matter what the play call was, and they knew it in the backfield because they could see us do it. But if there was nobody there, we'd run it and get 4 or 5 yards every time we ran it, because if they slid into another defense, we'd all right, Danny, it's going right, it's going left, and we would just run the ball. Like we had that play.
And he'd pick me up about 6 inches off the ground. My feet wasn't even on the ground. He would just take me whichever way he wanted to go was the way I went.
If you look at that Powell Valley clip we sent you, it shows me under him, and I was sitting like I'm in a chair.
I was listening to Roby there, and I remember one night I called something there, and Roby didn't run it. He ran another play. I called timeout. I was over on the sideline with him, and I was chewing on him there, You know what he told me?
What?
He said, Coach, the fans will think you're mad at me.
He was mad, wasn't he, Coach?
Like I said, going on with it there, Clintwood there and Ralph, he was a legend too there. And my wife's uncle told me he was going to the ball game at Clintwood, but he said that feller's a legend. You can't beat a legend.
Y'all beat two weeks in a row.
I told him I come back, I told him, we beat a legend.
Yeah. So advanced on into the state tournament. I don't really know how the setup was back then. Quarterfinals.
Well, it was.
We used to
rotate. That's why we got to host the regionals, because districts got to host. It wasn't by record, so that's why we got to host the 2 Black Diamonds year to host the tournament.
That's cool.
But Drury Mason, best team we played in the whole playoff run, hands down. Best athletes, fast.
Yep.
Listen, they had a running back that was unbelievable. And just a little story to tell y'all, Red, you'll like this. When I went to college, one of my teammates was the quarterback for Drury Mason, Lamont Scales. And he said, man, we watched y'all on film, and we said, they ain't no way they can beat us. And he said, y'all come over there and y'all smacked us in the mouth. He said, I thought that red streak was in my backfield. It was one of my running backs. Now, he'll tell you this day, I see him at all the games, and he talks about Red all the time, about you, Red.
But a tight game, 9-7. At 9, I guess, was that some field goals, or?
We kicked one field goal, right, y'all?
Yeah,
and we scored one. They scored once, and I mean, we had some opportunities. We had a pass like in the third quarter that probably would have been a touchdown that we dropped in the third quarter. It was kind of a post down the middle, and then we fumbled. We turned the ball over. We fumbled and gave them the field to score. It might have been even an interception, but we gave them the 7 points they had. But yeah, I don't know about y'all, but skill-wise, that was the best team we played. Tal, would you think, Randy? They were so skilled.
Where did y'all play those?
We played that at Bassett High School.
So that was a neutral field.
Yeah.
You guys never been there, and they've probably never been there. So something new.
And they didn't lose one game that year. They lost to Martinsville. If anybody knows about Martinsville, they had the quarterback Sean Moore. They were legit. You know,
they were stacked.
They were stacked. And, but I felt like, I don't know about y'all, they were the most talented team skill-wise we played all year.
I see on this headline here, come down there with it says the Great Wall of Green. I was wanting to ask y'all who. I'm going to assume Coach Jones came up with that name.
I think the newspaper didn't do it. The local.
Yeah.
The local
okay.
newspaper.
I was thinking it was something Jones came up with.
You know, you talk about. We went with it. Man, you talk about, but you really talk about all the consolidation of schools and stuff. But listen, this was a county thing. Man, we had people from every school in the county calling us. And Jim Horn that went to Grundy, he wrote us a letter. Richard was his cousin, you know, that played running back for us. But he wrote us this letter. It was awesome, telling us about how great this was for the county. And to be honest, I think by the time we made the state championship game, every school in the county was rooting for us, even Hurley.
Yeah.
I believe Hurley, Grundy, Hayside, they all were pulling for us. But that's what something like this will do for a county.
And the reason being, I believe, is everybody thinks the state stops at like Blacksburg or Christiansburg.
Or
there's nothing
Big Stone
down
Gap,
this way.
yeah, Clintwood, Big Stone Gap, that's it.
And you know, sometimes I wouldn't be surprised if back in they didn't get overlooked. You know,
100%.
When we went to Lunenburg for the state final, going through Richland and through Tazewell on 460, they had in Tazewell even had signs up for us.
And Tazewell was playing for the state championship.
Tazewell won the state that year.
Oh wow.
Double A, But you know, a lot of people don't realize the week leading up that Dave was in the hospital. He was sick all week.
In the Drury Mason.
After Drury Mason, he was in the hospital.
I was at 104 temperature. That last picture that was taken. That picture that was taken at Drury Mason, I had a temperature about 104. And they put me in the hospital. I had like they treated me for staph infection, and you know I was sick. And I finally got back out Wednesday, I think it was, and I was weak when it came up to Lunenburg, but you know it was a tough game.
You know, we had Coach Jones was sick that week. We had 4 or 5 players that were sick, and then his dog died.
Yeah.
That week.
Old Blue.
Old Blue died.
Old Blue.
We won that one game.
Yeah.
Yep.
My old hound dog passed away there. But again, there I used it as motivation, you know, talking about, I told them there we were having a pep rally, and they wanted me to come in and say a few words, and I told them I just couldn't talk. My dog died. I was so damn. But if you want to, tell them there just win one for Old Blue. You know.
He did.
regular old Newt Rockney there, ain't it?
Go ahead, John. You got something. But I would say even at Lunenburg, and we get the ball, we drive down, score first time we got the ball, y'all. We scored. Field conditions were horrible. The sidelines were about 12 inches deep, like in mud, like sponges. It was. But to be honest, in that game again, we snapped ball to punter's head, they scored, and then we fumbled deep in our end and they scored. But you look at the second half stats, they didn't move the ball on us. Lunenburg, they didn't move. They were good too, though. Now listen, defense, our offense, man, we had a long day, man. We were getting hit, and it was they were fast, and we would move the ball, stall. But it gets down to in a game like that, if you turn the ball over, you're not going to win. We were that close.
And Jones told us at halftime they better not score another point.
And they didn't.
So only time they score is on turnovers.
2 turnovers. They scored on 1 drive and two turnovers.
Okay.
And that was it. That was the 21-6.
21-6.
Yep.
So, I mean, I guess I want to touch before y'all went up there. What was y'all's thought? Knowing that, did it ever dawn on you that you was the only school to ever do this in Buchanan County? Just another game.
We were hoping we would be the only school that ever win a state championship.
Yeah.
But the game was real close there. Really a couple of passes that really hurt us more than anything. But whenever we got out there, we got the ball, we marched straight down the field.
First drive.
And then once a couple of those
2 turnovers later.
couple of them blue blacks
Yeah, yes.
they were tall.
Yeah.
And they thought if I was one of them running, I thought they just absolutely smoked us.
They were fast.
Again, they were skilled. They had skilled players. I still think Drew Mason had more skilled players, but their receivers were good and their running backs were really good. And you know, it's just like, but a lot of people don't realize about these guys here. We were talking earlier about, I told you, when we all were in Little League, our 7th and 6th and 7th grade year, you know, we were undefeated in the county. We were 9-0. We gave up 1 touchdown all year on defense. The same team.
So it carried on.
Yeah.
That Little League team was this state champion. The team played for the state. The same team, but I think there were 4 guys that didn't play with us then that played on this team. Same team. And so I think we had a little preview of it earlier in life, and we just didn't know it was coming.
Yep.
Really, like I said,
Back
motivation. But I think about going to Lunenburg and staying all night in the motel where it was, and took a little bit of a toll on us. But you know, we were the first that ever been that far here in Canada. And but it was a great moment for me there in Center County, and how we had the backing from home county and everything. It was a tremendous, but most of all, I thought when players can say something, I can say something, the memory there, that we're the only football team that ever played in a state championship game. But back in, when I was a manager, did y'all ever know Smiley Ratliff?
Yeah.
I was, and we're talking about motivation there, I was a manager on him. I knew him in the 7th grade. He the greatest motivator I ever seen there. And he'd pull every stunt in the book, but I was standing beside of him. I packed his clipboard and he was chilling about it. I was standing there beside him and we had the ball and he said, go see what yard line they're on. I told him, I said, 11 yard line. I looked, he said, I said, go and put yourself down 25 laps and started kicking at me, you know, around me in 7th grade there. I run down there and right quitting coming right in there now. He said, don't forget them 25 laps either. But he was. He could pull some of those down the stunts there, you know, like it was some motivation. And we went to, we're on this team here all the time, but I still would say he did a few things that wasn't exactly illegal, you know. One of them, he might have picked up a player or two going on trips a play that wasn't even in school.
Okay, guys. Yeah, I guess take it down to the end there. And I guess what we'll do now is maybe just get your thoughts on the season and I guess what it meant to you.
Well, when after it was all said and done and it was over, it was just like a whirlwind. And it was, you know, when you go off this field and the amount of fans and support that they had for you, I mean, it was magical. I mean, it's all I can say. You know, I had the guys that I grew up with. I mean, they were my best friends. Stayed all night with one another, and you know, it was just, I don't know, it was just it was a magical time. You know, and you don't realize that when you're going through it. But and I always said, you know, Coach Jones, he always said these stats that we did, they'll never be broken. Never be broken. And I'm glad we're doing this so that, you know, at least people now can know actually, you know, what we did do. And so, and there's a lot of good coaching and a lot of good players. I mean, we had some guys, Red, and some of these guys, some of the meanest men you ever, I'm telling you, 100
football field.
That one's 150, 160 pounds soaking wet would tire you up. You know, Johnny King and every one of us. I mean, just, you know, if you blink of an eye, you would get hit. Or if they was after the ball, they wouldn't fool with you. They'd get to the ball and sack the quarterback. I mean, just, it's a storybook year for me. I look back with so much nostalgic. I've been watching videos for the last several days, and I last night my wife said, "What's the matter?" And I'm like, I'm pretty emotional right now. Just after talking to these guys, I hadn't talked to them in years, and it's just magical. That's all I can say.
The first thing I want to say, that was the best time of my life. Playing football with these guys and these coaches, and you know, you can't say nothing about nothing but good things about these players and coaches. And I want to add one thing to the Lunenburg game, the state championship game. I think that one thing that hurt me and maybe some of the other players, I can't remember for sure, but before the game, I was shook up, I was nervous, and I was crying because I wanted to win that state championship so bad. And then after the game, I was crying because we lost, you know what I'm saying? But these guys and coaches are wonderful, and I'd go back in a heartbeat and do it all over again if I could. But like I said, that's the best time of my life.
Yeah, you definitely take a lot of memories with you. It carries over with you in life because you want to win more and you don't give up, you keep pushing. But what Dave said about having some mean players, I hated playing the scrub offense because I dreaded when I had to run the ball for the other team's offense, and I got hit harder by Danny and Randy by any other player in the other team. I always hated playing the scrub because I was on this side playing against our first team defense and they'd ring your bell. I hated it, but no, you take a lot of memories with you. A lot of the guys, you don't forget it.
Yeah, it was all in love, Kyle.
Oh, I know that's right. And I remember at the end of the practice, we get on the 20-yard line, and Roger would say, if you all score, you go in, and the other ones would run laps, run the gushers. And it was always either a 47 quick pitch or a 43 dive up his sideline over here coming this way here every time. And I can remember Randy taking that big forearm and then just knocking him everywhere, and I'd just be laughing and falling off his block. And, you know, talking about me being big and running, I couldn't have never done it without the lead blockers, you know, without Randy, Danny, David pulling. And then I remember Hurley, Roger come and asked me one time, said, how many times can you run the ball in a row? I said, as many as you hand it to me. So we pulled Kelly from the opposite side to this side. I had Randy, Kelly, and David on this side, and then Danny in the middle. We run the same 43 dive like 20 sometimes in a row, right there. And
Big on big one.
Yeah, the minute I remember, used to keep a towel on back of Randy's shirt. You get wet, ball, muddy games. Every game, I'm constantly wiping my hands off on him on back his shirt. And I'd follow him around on them quick pitches. I'd get his shirt and I'd push him like a bowling ball, which they got caught a few times, got penalties called. But you don't forget plays like that when you grow older.
True. Well, I'd say, you hear there have been really good teams in this county, like teams, like they have maybe great players, but there's never going to be a team as good as we were. For one season, and just the way we played, I don't think anybody could have. I don't think we just were determined not to lose, and when we did lose, it was because we shot ourselves in the foot every time. But these guys, I've grown up with these guys. We played Little League baseball together, basketball, football, JV. We grew up with these guys. Randy and I played. His dad was our Little League baseball coach. When we were little, we all played on those teams. We've been friends forever. And, like Dave said, this week it's been kind of emotional because some of these guys we hadn't talked to in 37 years. So thank you all for getting us together and putting this together. Because it's a lot bigger than football.
Yeah.
It is. It's like he said, the Super Bowl of life. Number one, Lord Jesus Christ is the one we should cling to the most. But but this right here outduels the football field every time. Right here, this, and the ones that aren't here, and we wish more were here. But it was just a special time, But I still say best football team ever played in Buchanan County. I'd argue with anybody around here, anywhere.
Hey, let me stand up a minute there. I've had some hip problems.
Too much dancing.
I was thinking, what were you talking about there? I remember one day and I thought we was getting close to Randy here my time. We was out here experimenting. We was talking about cornbread and everything there. We had a boy playing defense there. He's about 150 pounds. Randy pulled that runner right behind him there. That boy broke down. Randy run right through him. I thought he was hurt bad, and I told him, I said, "Son, what have you done? Get out of the way." And he said, "I saw him in between him and the goal." I said, "Yeah, but you see what happened to you in between the goal there too. I thought you was dead there." He just ran. He didn't even slow down. Now that boy just went down there now. But I always called him a great teddy bear. He was a big teddy bear, but watch out. He would run over you.
Yeah. And smile at you while you done it.
And help you back up.
Yeah, help you back up.
Help you back up.
I just want to say it's been an honor to play with these boys. Like I said, from Little League all the way up, and we baseball and everything. So we've been friends for a long time. It's been a good thing. And, we had a great team. The offensive line, defensive line, most of them played both ways. Most of the starters played both ways. I can remember Randy, as big as he was back then even, he was fast.
Yeah, he
Oh,
was.
yeah.
He was.
And I remember many a times if I had the ball, I grabbed his belt loops and just held on.
Strong.
And took him where he took me. With him where he took me. The standouts, Dave, Kyle, Roby, all of them. Just, they played so hard and they never got tired. At the end of the game, everybody was dead, but during the game, nobody got tired. It was just, something that you don't see, the discipline to just keep going when you're tired, when you don't feel like you can. All these boys had it. It was just amazing.
Yeah, and we played as a team. I mean, that's what it was. Nobody was, I done this, I done that, everybody. No. If you missed a tackle, that's all right. Dave's coming right behind you. He'll get it. I mean, that's what we play.
Couldn't even fight by yourself.
So what?
Couldn't even fight by yourself.
Well, we had help.
It was just an amazing time, a great ride with these boys, like I say, from Little League all the way to high school, and a little bit after high school. For some of us, we still stayed in touch pretty good. Not in these recent years, but right out of high school we did. And it was just an honor to play with all these boys. I mean, great friends, great teammates, great brothers.
Yeah. Amen.
And I love every one of them.
Alrighty, guys. I guess that'll about finish us up and everything. Me and Tim, we greatly appreciate every one of y'all for coming, and this has been great, truly great.
I just
Can
want
I say one thing real quick? There's an old saying.
that I've heard that reminds me of this team. And it's somebody with a country accent says, get her done. You know what I'm saying? And I know on Friday nights, Saturdays, we got her done. We done whatever it took to get it done.
only thing I want to add to you gentlemen and your teammates and coaching staff is I respect you. Very well respect you, because when you lined up on offense and you could tell where the ball's going to go when you lined up, unless you hit the center, Roby. You told them, I'm coming right here to try to stop us. And sometimes they stopped you, but then again, next time you might run over them. So I really respect the hard-nosed Garden Green Dragons football for that.
And when we lined up on defense, we just dared you to come after.
You just come on.
Yeah.
Like, bring it on.
Yeah.
And just like Coach Rife spoke earlier, it's not about the football. It's after. It's the, and we didn't realize that, guys. Didn't realize that when he was coaching you that. I didn't realize it when I played. It's what's coming, life lessons afterwards. And I respect every coach for that.
Yeah.
Because we took that for granted as young men at that time. I mean, I had coaches I hated. But then I went back and apologized, because I apologized and said, I'm sorry, I love you, because you made me where I'm at today. And that's exactly what the coaching staff done with you men. And I'm so proud to say that I was able to sit with you guys and hear the history of the 86 Garden Green Dragons.
I would say I know this next year is a whole new era for this county for sports. And I really hope that these kids from Hurley and Grundy and Twin Valley, I hope they embrace this and they make friends like this.
Yeah.
I hope they understand that what they do here on this football field during their high school years, it's the greatest time of their life.
Best year.
I mean, listen, I played football in college, but I would rather play high school football than anything I've ever done in my life. And I know they would say the same thing. And I hope that this new era of football in Buchanan County, that these three schools will embrace each other. And I think they can be special. There are a lot of talented kids going to be in one place next year. And if they'll approach it like we did, then I think it'll be a good thing for the county. But I hope they realize how precious this time is right now.
Yeah, and I hope any high school players that are watching this can learn something from this today, not only about, play on the field and being teammates, but about life and life lessons that you all picked up over the way and stuff. On our Facebook page, we always say past, present, and future. And that's what I've always tried to do on there. You look, you'll see stuff about what happened Friday night. You'll see stuff about what happened in the 80s or in the 60s or whatever. And that's what I've always tried to cover on there and keep alive things like this.
Myself, like I said, my age, and I know how long do you expect to live. you know what I'm talking about. But anymore, I just tell everybody there, hey, be as good as you can be every day. And ask the good Lord to forgive you for the mistakes you've made in life. And prepare yourself, because all of us are going to go. We might think we're superhumans or whatever there, but we're going to go. And I do know this, and I believe with all my heart there's a God.
Yes.
And I believe there's a place where He's going to take the good people and He's going to punish the bad people. I believe that. But anyway, when we were playing there and they wouldn't have prayer, I'd tell them this: hey, have your prayer, but remember that other team might be praying too. And I don't know whether the good Lord will lean to one side or the other. You know, it's
Well, it looks to me like that year he liked the green, didn't he?
yeah, that's what I say. Though. I have been given, and like I said, I've been blessed. You know,
Yeah.
with life. And
Sure
like I
have.
said, on my high school football team, you know how many kids are left?
Wow.
Me, the quarterback, and that's it. Now you get to thinking, you know, he said, why me?
He's got a plan.
He's got a plan.
He's got a plan.
I've been blessed there, and like I said.
That's for sure.
How about this team here? Like I said, they propelled me into the limelight. You know,
Yeah.
I was assistant football coach until I came to Garden. But if you will, let me tell one funny story. Don't tell it.
Everybody's going to be watching this, Raj. Coach.
And I say this: I was over at Hurley, and I was coaching basketball, netball, and Tom Justice was the principal. You know, he passed away.
Yeah.
Tom played left tackle on the football team, and he was on the basketball team, but he couldn't shoot a lick. But anyway, when I left Grundy, he talked me into coming over Hurley. Well, it was great. I liked it over Hurley. I was from there and knew everybody there. But anyway, one day a principal and assistant principal showed up over at Hurley and wanted me to go back to Garden there. And like I said, there, nowadays I did something maybe I shouldn't do. But anyway, I told them, hey, I just had a basketball team with Mark Cooper and them, the ninth graders, who win the playoff game, Ringo Championship. I said, hey, they're good to me over here. I'm from here, and I know the people that were from there. And they said, if you'll come back, we will give you everything they are giving me. I said, yeah. And then they said the Boosters Club is going to give you an extra $2,500. That time I said,
Your NIL deal?
I said, you know, I work for money. So I tell them, I believe I'm going to take you up on that. Come back. Anyway, I go in and tell Tom, I believe I'm going back to Garden. We ain't going back to Garden for. We like you and, you know, everything. I said, well, Tom, I wouldn't tell him about the money or anything, but I told him, you know, hey, I can go from my house up Garden, it's 4-lane all the way. And I go back to Hurley, I got to cross Rock House Mountain. So I said, I believe it'd be safer on me if I go back to Garden there. And I went back, and then he said, told them people over Hurley, Roger even got green underwear on.
I don't believe that.
I ain't got no underwear on. Anyway, hey, it's a great time, Marilyn. I thank y'all. short or long. I'm just glad to see him one more time.
Yeah, I'm so happy that everybody showed up what it is. And Roby, thank you for getting everybody here.
Thank
And
Dave, he helped
Dave,
a lot.
thank you guys.
Dave really helped too. He was
Thank
much
all of you.
responsible as me.
I can't thank, one more person, WMJD Sports. Rodney Davis come up here and set all our mics up and everything. And when you guys are out on Friday nights, you can tune in to it. He goes local football games on Friday nights, and he's picked 2 or 3 different areas to call, Hurley, Garden, and Grundy. So you can go online and you can pick him up online, and you can listen to some ball games if y'all want to. So special thanks to them.
Yeah. But then again, appreciate y'all for coming today, and that'll be the end of the show today. Thank you
I'd
guys.
like to say one more little thing. I want to thank all these guys here and all the other guys that aren't here
Yeah.
for making the 1986 Garden Green Dragons football team. We had a great team and a great year. I want to thank the coaches for coaching us and helping us. And I want to thank the fans followed us all over the state that year, all over the county and all over the state. And I want to thank God for all his blessings.
All righty, guys. That'll
Thanks, you
finish us
guys.
up. That'll finish us up today. Thank you all for coming.
You got it.